Have you ever really thought about what makes the medicine in your cabinet safe? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on India's updated Schedule M regulations. This is the official rulebook, the blueprint, that every single drug manufacturer has to follow to guarantee the quality of every pill, every syrup, and every injection they produce.
You know, when you take a medicine, you're putting a whole lot of trust into this tiny, precisely made thing. But what's that trust based on? It's not just wishful thinking, it's a really powerful system of rules, a promise of quality that works completely behind the scenes. And today, we're going to see exactly how it all comes together.
Okay, so this entire system, it's built on one single powerful idea called good manufacturing practices, or just GMP for short. You can almost think of it as the DNA of drug safety. It's this fundamental code that dictates how every medicine has to be made to make sure it's both safe and effective. So let's really get into this. GMP is way more than just, testing a pill at the end of the assembly line. The whole point is that you can't just inspect quality into a product after it's already been made. Instead, GMP is this massive system that covers the entire journey of a medicine, from the raw ingredients to the sealed bottle. It's all about building quality in from the very start. And this idea of building in quality, it starts way before a single ingredient is even touched. A safe, effective medicine doesn't happen by chance. It all begins with a super detailed plan, a blueprint that lays out every single action to make sure the outcome is perfect and consistent every single time. At the very heart of all this planning is something called the product quality system. Now, this is not just some binder collecting dust on a shelf. It's basically the company's constitution for quality. It's all laid out in a quality manual, and it's a living document. The top brass, senior management, has to review it every single year to constantly hunt for ways to make the products, the processes, and the whole system even better.
You can see how this system has different layers of control. At the very top, you've got the quality manual. That's the big picture philosophy. Then you drill down to the master formula, which is like a super detailed step-by-step recipe for one specific drug. And then, for every single batch that gets made, there's a batch record. Think of it like a unique birth certificate that tracks that batch's entire life story, from the moment it began to the moment it was finished.
So, how does this blueprint actually come to life in the real world? Well, GMP brings its control over three core things: the people who make the medicine, the place where it's made, and the tools they use to make it. The rules totally get that people are the most critical and, frankly, the most unpredictable part of the whole process. That's why the requirements are so strict. Continuous training makes sure everyone's skills are sharp. And all these rules about hygiene and personal conduct, like no jewelry or makeup in clean areas, it's all about one thing: preventing even the tiniest possibility of contamination. Now, managing the human element goes way beyond just individual behavior. It's baked into the very structure of the company. And this is a brilliant part of GMP, preventing conflicts of interest. The law literally mandates a separation of powers. You've got the head of production, whose job is to get things done on time. But then you have the head of quality, who has the completely independent power to just say stop if standards aren't being met. It's this amazing system of checks and balances where safety always gets the final word. And to fight invisible enemies like bacteria and dust, the very air inside a factory is meticulously controlled. Manufacturing areas are split into different grades of cleanliness. As a product is being made, it moves through progressively cleaner zones, from a grade D area for early stuff all the way up to an ultra-sterile grade A zone for really high-risk things like filling eye drops. This whole setup makes sure the product is protected when it's most vulnerable. All right, now we're getting to the real heart of the process, the assembly line, where all those raw ingredients are carefully combined and turned into the final medicine that we all depend on. A huge focus of GMP is stopping one drug from accidentally mixing with another. It's called cross-contamination, and it's a massive risk. So, to fight this, the rules demand things like dedicated production areas for certain drugs, using airlocks that act as buffer zones between areas, and really strict rules to make sure different products are never, ever being worked on in the same room at the same time. And the vigilance is just constant. Take tablet making, for example. While those tablets are being pressed, samples have to be pulled off the line and checked against every specification at regular intervals. And those intervals? They can't be any longer than 30 minutes. This kind of relentless in-process checking is so crucial. It means that if some tiny little thing goes wrong, it's caught and fixed right away, not after thousands of doses have already been made. Quality isn't just an afterthought.
It's an active, ongoing ingredient in the manufacturing process itself.
But hey, the journey isn't over just because the medicine is made and in the bottle. Before it can ever get to you, it has to pass through a final set of gatekeepers. And even after it hits the pharmacy shelf, it's still being monitored.
This right here is the ultimate checkpoint. This one sentence from the regulations is absolutely critical. What it means is that nothing, and I mean nothing, leaves the factory without a final, formal sign-off from designated quality experts. It is the final go or no-go decision.
And that sign-off? It's not just a quick signature. Before releasing any batch of medicine, that authorized person has to go through a massive checklist. They have to verify that every single GMP rule was followed, that all the processes worked exactly like they were supposed to, that any unexpected issues were fully investigated and documented, and that every last piece of paperwork is complete and in order. And guess what? The manufacturer's job doesn't end when the truck pulls away from the factory. They are required to have solid systems in place for as long as that drug is being sold. This includes stuff like monitoring for adverse reactions, having a super-fast recall system ready to activate at a moment's notice, and a formal process for investigating every single complaint they get.
So, when you really stop and think about it, everything from a simple painkiller to a complex vaccine, what's that invisible thread of trust that connects them all?
It's this, a hidden rule book, rigorously followed. It's that unwavering commitment to good manufacturing practices, a system that's designed not just to make products, but to protect all of us, one safe, effective dose at a time.